So system-wide use of data is is critically important in the work that we do. Now, what we've learned over time is there's never a shortage of student performance data points. I mean, we are just like everybody else in education now. We're buried in student data. So first, you have to be skillful in choosing what your prime indicators are. You know, if your intention is to measure progress toward targeted proficiency and reducing gaps along the way, you can't look at everything. You have to look at the high leverage points, and so we've been doing that for a long time. But you do hit a point of diminishing returns in looking only at student data. You can look at the trend within the year. You can compare the point in time with the point in time the previous year, and again project what that would predict the final outcomes are going to be. But you end up being kind of limited to that if you don't also have adult implementation data. So we've found adult implementation data to be the critical other component, because if you don't have measures of what you're actually doing to compare the student performance data against, it's really hard to tell you what you should or should not do next. So you have to have those two pieces together. Now, it's a lot more challenging to collect adult implementation data. Most of our adult implementation data is in the form of classroom walkthroughs. Our teachers are used to people being in their classrooms all the time. They understand that that's part of the culture we have. But walkthrough data, a lot of people still kind of tend to feel like they're being evaluated in the moment. So it's messy, it's challenging, but we found that you have to push through those things, because without that adult implementation data, you're really limited in terms of what you can do with your data. So we have generated measures, look-fors, for the components of our K-5 literacy framework that we expect to see, for components of our K-12 math instructional framework that we expect to see, and of course our general instructional framework of key instructional practices that we expect to see everywhere. So we have an ongoing process of collecting those data along with some others. We do have some adult implementation points around some of our interventions to make sure that we're implementing those correctly. But we're looking for those pieces of those frameworks, as well as use of our district products. You know, we've invested a lot in terms of research and collaborative time, and of course financial resources in the curriculum materials that we've selected. We need to make sure that we're using them, or that we're using them properly. So we have to get in the classrooms and check all those things, and then each time that we look at our student performance, we look at that as well. If we see one trend, if we see them trending up together, that gives us an indication that we're doing the right things. If we see one flat while the other's decreasing, it clearly points to something that we can do next to predict improvement.